DeGrum says, I'm just confused how any of this is Dick's fault. July fans blaming him. Are they assuming Dick contacted ISOM? Yes, but also they're missing something. Dick contacting ISOM would be fine and not his fault. I know this is the hottest take on the internet. But if I create Walmart and have a, not a store, like I wouldn't want a resale store if I'm creating a Walmart, but let's say I create a Walmart and I want to create a program of people where you order online and those people go to any store and buy a bunch of stuff and then you go pick it up at a location, right? So it's not a retail store. It's not a brick and mortar store. It's a self-shopping program called Walmart. They examine the wall and they buy stuff from the wall. Obviously this is contrived, but let's say you do that. Walmart would definitely go after you on their trademark infringement. You'd be like, well, I don't have a brick and mortar store. They're like, dude, you're buying retail product. We literally offer this service. And you're like, but mine goes to every store. And they're like, but ours goes to our store. It is important to us. Like, wow. It just seems like he's their scapegoat. Of course he is. All of this stems to one reality and is very uncomfortable for people. And even saying it is uncomfortable for me because it's true, but this sector is so volatile and fragile that saying it costs me money. Every single part of this controversy and lawsuit is Eric's fault. All because he did the one thing that could have prevented all of this. Named and branded his comic book ISOM. That's it. He didn't intentionally do it. He didn't try to infringe on their property. He didn't do anything like that. You have a duty to not steal someone else's IP, which means you have an affirmative duty to check into possible infringements and avoid them. If you don't do that, that's your fault. There's no way around it. That is your fault. If you do not avoid the thing, that's your fault. You have to do it. It sucks. It's not fair. It is stifling creativity. It's anti-libertarian. It's anti-freedom. It's all of those things. What if his trademark is ISOM number 1, so on? It's not. His comic book isn't ISOM number 1. It's ISOM number 1. And it sucks. I get it. I would hate that. His great-great-great-grandpa's name was ISOM. I don't know. My great-great, whatever. My grandpa's name was Paul on one side and Lewis on the other side. I wanted to honor them and create characters called Paul and Lewis. Cool. Those have probably not run into as many trademark issues as ISOM. ISOM's pretty specific and unique and distinct, which is probably why he chose it. But let's say Lewis and Paul have an existing trademark. No matter how much I like my grandparents, it doesn't matter. Technically, Vito was right with Super Killer killing ISOM. We don't know how it's going to work out. He could win the trademark lawsuit. I think he has good arguments. I think they're getting worse, but they're still good arguments. We're not a Christian ministry. They don't produce comic books. Those are fine arguments. They may work, they may not. The problem is that the Christian ministry could produce comic books. And the fact that they're not a Christian ministry doesn't mean someone won't be confused by it. Well, the confusion is trolls. Maybe, maybe not. You have to convince a judge of that, or jury, or whatever. You have to convince somebody of that it's trolls. But there's a whole bunch of other evidence of confusion that has nothing to do with trolls. Tsunami says, Eric's emotions got the better of him. They literally always have. He's just been able to fight because his opponents have been weak and small.